correlation between silver and oil is not very good during most times, but when oil is in a serious bull market, the correlation between oil and silver is pretty strong. And I think in 2012 we're going to see a serious jump in oil prices. Oil prices did jump quite a bit in 2012, 2011, but coming up this year, obviously, with more stringent sanctions on Iran, at the very least, that's going to cause a supply shortage throughout the world because Saudi will not be able to make up the difference. And there's a pretty likely scenario that Israel is going to do a strike on Iran, and the Straits of Hormuz will probably be closed temporarily at least. So there's going to be an oil spike. So I do think there will be a silver bull run too, and they seem to run together. When oil goes into a serious bull run, it's not exactly a perfect correlation, but you're going to get a period of time when silver, very near that time, is going to run into a very hard bull run. So I'm going to be watching this and probably to move in and out of silver because I expect to get out of it and back in it when it pulls back, and I'm going to try to determine about where that's going to be. This is an oil chart going back to 1946. It goes all the way up to the end of this year, 2011. Now, the first serious oil spike was in 1973 when they had the Yom Kippur War and the oil embargo by OPEC. And, obviously, oil jumped up quite a bit. It was below $20 a barrel, and it went up to over $40 a barrel. The price of silver about doubled back then, too. It looks like it was around 4 something, almost 5, and it went up to about, not 10, but pretty close to it. So, and that was during about roughly the same time. The next time you had a real spike in oil was when there was the Iranian Revolution, and you're talking about 1978 to 1980, and also during the period of the 8 years long Iran-Iraq war. But when tensions were getting really heated in that area and supplies of oil were being diminished and the price of oil was going from around $40 a barrel to about 70 something dollars a barrel, that's when silver really spiked up, and that's when we had this super spike in silver late in 1979 where it jumped all the way up to $48 an ounce, $47 an ounce, and then it crashed right down again. But the correlation between when oil runs in a very hard bull market and silver, there's not a bad correlation then. It's a pretty decent correlation. So it's something to look at for 2012 because I think oil prices are going to go up quite a bit. So you're going to see the silver go up quite a bit. This deflation stuff is not going to hold up for long. Now, also at the end of 9/11 and say going from like 2001 onward, you could see that silver has been going up for that whole past 8 years up until the 2008 financial crisis. So the same thing happened with oil. I mean, oil spiked all the way up to $147 a barrel, and it dropped way down. Now these are adjusted dollars, so I think that's the reason why you see this graph like this. 2010 dollars per barrel. These are all inflation adjusted dollars. So what happened with silver at that time? Same thing. I mean, it's not exact one-to-one correlation, but also you want to look at the most recent spike in oil prices was during the Libyan uprising or NATO-inspired revolution, whatever you want to call it, But on this chart, it doesn't go up to that, but obviously that's when silver spiked up to approximately $47 an ounce. So I think there is a serious correlation between oil and silver only when oil is in a big, serious bull market. So right now, I mean, there seems to be that they're moving in opposite directions a little bit, as of the current moment. Oil's going up a little bit and silver's going down. But I do expect it's maybe not be in a very near future, but it's not going to be some long timeline like a year from now and all this type of stuff. It's going to be a matter of months you're going to see other news that's going to come out that says it's going to be extremely bullish for the oil prices going up. And you're going to see silver start taking off like crazy again. So I think in 2012, silver is going to hit some new highs. It's going to go, and I'm not just saying that as a cheerleader. I'm trying to go by facts. I'm trying to go by facts all the way. Because, I firmly see oil going up. It's going to do some kind of crazy price spikes this year because of tensions in the Middle East. That's pretty much a given. Even if there's no war, the sanctions alone are going to cause the oil prices to increase a great deal. So I'd expect the same thing that's been happening throughout history. Usually when oil prices are in a super bull market, silver follows, and it doesn't correlate 1-to-1, and it doesn't exactly hit that exact time frame when oil is in a bull market, but it is a fairly close approximation. And I think silver is going to get into a new high this year, probably well over 60, maybe not 70, and then it'll have a pullback. So I plan to dump silver around $60 an ounce. Maybe I'll dump half of it at 60. And I'm not talking physical. I might do a little bit of physical. I'm talking about PSLV. But some people are predicting the silver to go down to 25, 22. And from whatever time I hear a lot of people start getting really negative on silver, they start thinking everybody's starting to feel down in the dumps on it, even the more hardcore people. That's usually when it turns around. So I don't know if, I didn't think it was going to go below 30. So I was buying some below 32, like 31 something. But you know what? I would have liked to pick it at the absolute bottom, but I think we're around here. So I don't know. People waiting for 22 or 25, they could be missing a boat. I don't know that for a fact, but they could be. They could be. Because, I think that there's a limit to how far this is going to go down. There's a hell of a lot of physical buying going on. And, the other thing is, in euros, this doesn't look like it's down as much as it does in US dollars. You got to remember the dollar is up at 80 now again, and the euro is sitting around 130. So, the euro was up to like 142, 144. So you had a 10% move in the currency itself. So, if you added 10% to this 29, it's like $3 higher. It's sitting up around 32. So, like if we were down, our dollar index was sitting at 73 or something like that, this would be sitting at 32. So it's not exactly the same picture everybody's seeing in their currencies. So, and I also think, like, in the case of countries like Iran, they're not going to invest in Russian rubles. That currency's been getting trashed for like the last year. It's like 32 rubles. It's like the ruble's worth like 3 cents now. It's down quite a bit from what it was so many months ago. I think a good 6 months ago. And if you're in Iran and you put money in a bank and they freeze your assets, you're totally SOL, right? So I'd imagine a big exporter of oil like Iran would be investing heavily in gold and silver, and I don't think those figures are showing up anywhere. And I think all the countries in the Middle East are doing this because they know they're going to get screwed on the dollar. They know the dollar's going to default at one point in time. China knows this too. So I think there's a lot more hoarding going on of physical metals. And the biggest people around, they're trying to drive this spot price down so they can get the stuff cheaper. So, you figure China's probably in on pushing this price down too, but when it goes up, it's going to go up like mad. It's going to go up so fast, it's going to make your head spin. And I think it's going to go up a hell of a lot this year just because of oil's going up and that historical correlation we've seen, during all this period of time. 73 to 74, also 79 and 80. And also back here from after 9/11 and slow financial deterioration, and you saw oil spike all the way up to in July '08, crash down. I mean, it didn't crash down. Silver and oil didn't crash down at the exact same time, but the correlation is it's not that bad. It's fairly close. And during the Libyan uprising, revolution, during the early months of 2011, oil was taken off, hit about 112 on the WTI, and that's about when silver was going way up too. It's a fairly decent correlation when oil's in a bull market, and I think it's a given that this year you're going to see oil prices hit new highs they never hit before, and that's going to be the same with silver. Silver is going to break that $50 an ounce, no problem. You know what? I guarantee that. I guarantee that. So, if you're looking at these prices and you're waiting for a pullback and you never got into silver, I don't know, you might be kicking yourself. Maybe it will pull back a little bit more. But later on, you're not going to have to wait even 12 months before you're probably going to double your money or more. So, when everybody's doom and gloom, that's the time to buy.